Greetings, brothers and sisters. Hello and welcome back to Eva's House of Spirit. I'm Eva, and today we are going to make an ingestible brew. We are going to make psychic tea. At least one version, anyway. So, it's my workspace where I need your attention to be, and that's why I have angled my camera downward. Now, before we start on this psychic tea recipe, I will say that there are many different recipes for psychic enhancing tea. This is just one recipe of my own devising, and you are free to try this. You are free to tweak this, come up with your own version if you feel that there's something you want to change about this, feel free. I do recommend, though, do a little research on your herbs if you're going to throw some different herbs in, or just know like what herbs do. If you're going to use them in ingestible recipes, please do familiarize yourself with medicinal as well as magical properties. Depending on who you are and what your specific situation is, there may be some potentially dangerous effects. If you're taking other medications, let's say if you're taking something and then you ingest a certain herb that doesn't react well with that, it's just good to know, good to be aware. So please, just a cautionary note, please do research herbs from a medicinal standpoint before you go and ingest any. The herbs that I will be using today, the majority of them are like kitchen herbs. One of them is not so much a kitchen herb, but it's one that I'm fairly confident is safe to be taken internally on a fairly regular basis. All that aside, let's get started into our psychic tea. So we have our clean mortar and pestle. Now, what we're going to do is I want to make this tea based with a black tea base. So I have some just plain black tea bags. There's nothing else in this tea. It's only black tea. And I'm basically just going to, this is going to be like a loose tea. I'm going to cut these open and just pour them into the mortar and pestle. This is a type of tea, this tea I'm making, that since the black tea is very fine, you probably want to make this tea with, like, let's say maybe like a coffee filter, lining your little strainer that you sit into your cup, or maybe you can just kind of, let's say this is your cup, you could probably just kind of pull one of these. Or you can put the herbs into a coffee filter and then tie them with some thread and then sit that in your cup. Just to say, because these are really fine granules of black tea. And you don't want, like, well, a lot of people don't want little itty bitty leaflets of black tea in their tea. So, just a suggestion. You want to make sure that you have something to steep your tea in, your loose tea in, so that the fine bits of tea don't get all up in your beverage if that's not something that you like. So, okay, hang on, just getting all my black tea into here. So that is, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I used 8 bags of only black tea, 100% just black tea. Okay, you may want to read the ingredients on a tea box if you're going to make a tea like this for yourself and you want your blend to be like real, just what you add in. Read the ingredients on the side of the tea box, because sometimes I've found that tea boxes can say like, oh, black tea, and then you read it and it's like black tea and such added in, or it'll say like, oh, hibiscus tea, and then on the side it's like hibiscus, this, and you're like, what? Okay, I thought I was only buying hibiscus. Like, it's good to know like what's in the tea, because it's not always just what it says on the box. So do read your ingredients. Just saying. This one is only black tea. It's just a purely black tea. Okay. Now what I would like to add is some valerian. I'm adding valerian because I find that in situations when you want to enhance your psychic abilities, it helps if you're in a very relaxed frame of mind. I find that that very like laid back, chill, you know, rested, relaxed sort of, you know, state of being. It's very conducive to being open to impressions and so on and so forth. So I'm going to add valerian. That was probably about maybe a tablespoon of valerian I threw in there. Okay. Okay. Threw a tablespoon of valerian in there. Now, to continue on with the receptive, relaxed vibe, I'm going to add maybe about like a heaping teaspoon, roughly, of chamomile flowers. You know, going to add that in to continue on with that whole receptiveness vibe, because, yay, you know, to be psychically aware, you really do want your receptivity kind of amped up, I think. Rosemary. I have heard that rosemary is actually fairly beneficial for divination. It's good for many, many things. But I have seen recipes for psychic tea that do include rosemary, and I've done my... excuse me, oh my god, I have like a tickle in my throat. I've seen recipes that do include rosemary in psychic teas, and I've done some research, and I do see that divination is one magical property that rosemary is also associative of, and rosemary also has a sort of higher spiritual vibration, I find. So I do want to add in some nice rosemary. Again, it's like a heaping teaspoonful, like a really big teaspoon. I just kind of eyeball it, because that's sort of the way that I go about things. Next, cloves. I don't have too much powdered clove, so I think I'm going to do about maybe a half, maybe like a modest half a teaspoon of clove, powdered cloves. Put that in there. I don't have a lot of cloves, so I kind of got to go easy on that, because I like to keep a little bit in my kitchen until I get to buy more. So it's like a modest half teaspoon, I would say. Okay. And finally, I would like to add some anise seed. Anise seed is very well known for you know, enhancing psychic ability. So yeah, we're going to use, I'm going to go with a heaping teaspoon. So we have, in a black tea base, valerian, chamomile, clove, anise seed, and rosemary. The reason why I chose a black tea base is because I didn't want to use a non-caffeinated tea base, so that then with the valerian and the chamomile, what'll happen is you end up conking out if there's no little bit of caffeination to kind of counter that. I wanted you to be relaxed, but not so relaxed that you're passing out on top of your tarot cards or crystal ball, because that would be rather silly, wouldn't it? So okay, so we have everything in the mortar and pestle, and now we will proceed to grind up the mixture. Okay, so everything is ground up. Ooh, I must have spilled some, whatever. Anyway, now everything is ground up, and this is what it sort of looks like. I didn't grind it up too much. I just sort of like, you know, ground it some and mixed it some. It doesn't have to be like super, super fine. That's just a fine, that's an okay consistency, I think. And so, I will say this smells really nice. You can definitely pick up on the hint of clove. It has a really, but the anise and the clove kind of together give it this really like witchy sort of smell. It smells so good. Yeah, definitely. I would love to have a cup of this. I will be reviewing this as well in a future video. So there you have it. This is my version of psychic tea. Though I'm usually drawn to odd numbers of herbs in my preparations, this is a 6-herb mixture, I will say, but 6 is a feminine number, and you know, the whole feminine relating to the yin, relating to the moon and water, that is also very like psychically, you know, there's associations there with the psychic senses, the receptivity of the yin. So I have no problem with this being a 6-herb blend. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope if you do choose to make this tea that you enjoy it very much. If you choose to make this recipe and make a substitution and you feel like sharing that, I do welcome you to, you know, maybe VR to this video, or maybe, you know, come forth in the comments and share your recipe version of this, you know, any version you may have tweaked. That would be really cool. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, feelings, etc. in regard to this tutorial, this short little tutorial, please do share them below in the comment section. I would be glad to, you know, interact with you and address your comments and etc. In as best a way as I can. And I hope this tutorial has been useful to you. So, blessed be and ashe. Have a great day. Stay awesome. And until our next exchange, brothers and sisters, bye-bye for now.